All right, everybody, it's time to get ready for the Prime Sports Media. Let's get ready for it, everybody. I appreciate you all. What's up, everybody? What's up? This is Prime Sports Media. I'm going to get to the point here. I'm not going to make this an overly long podcast, but look, yes, CU lost the game against West Virginia, 22-29. They did not get blown out. This is a game that they could have won. And isn't it interesting that they almost won this game? Amarion Miller put up big numbers at receiver. Let me put him up here. I just want to make a point here to everybody that I believe is very, 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 very important. So we got Amarion Miller, who put up 131 yards receiving. The man was a monster out there. Incredible. Amarion Miller, only on 6 receptions. Amarion Miller was able to dominate with 131 yards, 1 touchdown, 43 yards being the longest. And guess who was throwing him the ball? That's right, Juju. Julian Lewis is the future now. Look. This season hasn't gone the way they would like it, but damn it, what has happened is that this situation has opened up the door for us to be able to see what Juju could really do when given a chance. Now, given the fact that he hasn't started all season, and this was the first game that he played in as a starter, I can't say that he did that bad. He didn't have, keep in mind, CU's got some guys that are still injured. Even Jordan Seaton, great offensive lineman. I believe he's going to the pros, no doubt about it. Even Jordan Seaton, I want to put his picture up here. Even Jordan Seaton did not play in this game. I thought, now the young man said that the offensive line gave him time, that he might have held on to the ball too long, that he's got to make faster decisions. Personally, I think the offensive line did not play that well, but the young man is playing in behind his line and says, hey, they gave me some time, but I didn't cash in on certain things. Well, given the circumstances of not having Jordan Seaton on this offensive line and having this young man come in the game who was recruited as one of the top quarterbacks in the country, we almost thought that he was going to go to USC. I told people from day one he was going to commit to CU, that CU was going to get him. And sure enough, they got him. Coach Prime now knows that he has a quarterback. I think that we got to be honest that there were mistakes here, because I believe that Julian Lewis probably should have been starting from the very beginning of the season. I know Coach Prime wanted to go easy, take his time, not throw the young man out there under bad circumstances. I totally get that. You want him to be successful but when it came to the quarterback battle between him and Salter, and this is no punching down on Salter, but I think that we got to be honest, Coach Prime in this situation, I think Coach Prime made a mistake. And I think he admitted that in the last press conference when they lost the game. The game just a week ago before playing West Virginia, when they lost that game to Utah. I think he admitted in that game that Julian Lewis should have probably been the starter from day one. I get it. Salter had more experience coming over from Liberty, where he had some success there in that small conference that he played in. But the fact of the matter is, Salters is mainly a scrambling type quarterback. Okay? What this team really needs is a quarterback like Julian Lewis who gets the ball down the field. In this game, you actually did, even though they lost, and a loss is a loss, but that's not that's not for us to be down on. There is so much to be up on, because Amarion Miller got the most yards he's ever gotten for the whole since so far in the season with 131 yards, 1 touchdown, 43 being the longest. And then on top of that to boot, see, you can tell that there's talent with this young man. Then we got this young man right here. Let me put this right in here. We got this young man right here. And this is Joseph Williams. And Joseph Williams probably got the most yards, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that he has gotten in a game receiving. Why do I say that? Joseph Williams had 3 catches for 64 yards, 42 being his longest. Why do I say that this is effective? Because they had a quarterback in Julian Lewis, he's not technically a scrambling quarterback or what you call a dude threat, but he showed in this game that he can scramble when necessary. They did not get blown out. The last couple of games they got blown out. I hate to say this, but I believe in being an honest broker. And we have to say this. The last few games that the team got blown out in, he was not the quarterback in those games. And if you notice and look at the numbers and look at the stats, the receivers were not getting the ball. They were not getting the ball consistently thrown to them because oftentimes, this is no shade, but it's just the truth. Oftentimes, Salters was running. Their offense was being predicated off of Salters running the ball. And as he was running the ball, the offense became one-dimensional. Although Salters was able to pick up first downs, and in some cases get touchdowns, and he did a great job against Iowa State. But that made us one-dimensional, which is why when we played against Utah, teams that beat us, they were able to pick up on that one-dimensional. That if Salters couldn't run the ball and scramble and get touchdowns like that, he wasn't going to beat you by air. Or at least when you look at the stats, the receivers were not getting the ball quite a bit. We got to be honest here. And so Joseph had 64 catches. He had 3 catches for 64 yards, 2 yards being the longest, and he got a touchdown. This is the debut. This is the debut of a freshman quarterback who we all have been working hard to say, put him in the game. We've been wanting to see him play, and he showed you what he could do. Now, both these teams had the same records. West Virginia had a 3-6 record. CU with a 3-6 record. Now they have a 3-7 record. This was a game that was for all the marbles to see who would be making it to a bowl game. Because CU lost this game, they unfortunately will not be eligible for a bowl game. But check this out. But we know we've got a quarterback in Julian Lewis that cannot be denied. We know we have a quarterback, y'all. This can't be denied. We know we have a young man that if you put the right talent around him, he can make things happen. And I've been saying this and saying this. The problem with CU this year is that with Salters at quarterback, they were not able to get the ball down the field. These guys, I got to be honest. When you look at guys like Amarion Miller, he's big, he's strong, he's physical, he's athletic. You've got to get the ball down the field. All this little screen passes and all this little bubble screen stuff, it works only so much. But you got to get the ball down the field to the guys that can make the plays. Sincere Brown didn't have a big game. He didn't have a breakout game. But you need a quarterback that can get the ball to guys like a Sincere Brown, like a Joseph Williams. You got to get the ball to him. And you have to have a quarterback that can throw the ball down the field. And we saw glimpses of that with Julian Lewis, which means the future is great. If they can keep Julian Lewis in the program, don't let this man transfer away and realize, okay, Julian Lewis is more of a pocket quarterback. He's more of a guy like a Mahomes. Now, I'm making that comparison because to me, like Mahomes in the NFL, Patrick Mahomes, this kid may have some Patrick Mahomes in him. There was a play in this game where he kind of scrambled out of the pocket a little bit and he kind of flipped the ball, sort of Patrick Mahomes-ish. Not saying he's Patrick Mahomes, but he might have some of those Patrick Mahomes genes in him if they focus the offense around getting the ball down the field. And then when you have a pocket quarterback, you must have a consistent running game. By having Julian Lewis in the game, they were not predictable. They lost the game 29-22. They weren't blown out by 50-some points as they were the last couple of weeks. Because, I'm sorry, Salters does not have the accuracy of the arm to get the ball down the field to the receivers consistently. At least that's what I've seen this season. Not consistent. For this young man to come in the game, not have that many reps overall, because he's not the starter. He was third string. And to come in with not having that many reps and at least come into this game and do the things that he did, you have to admit that that was impressive. Julian Lewis went 22 for 35 for 299 yards and 2 touchdowns. What in the world? You're saying that Salter was not the issue. What the coaching staff did was the issue. No, Salters was the issue because Salters doesn't have accuracy. You're wrong. Coach Prime has already told us and I've already talked about this. Yes, the coaching staff is an issue, particularly around Pat Shurmur. Now, Coach Prime, this lets you know in the chat room, Coach Prime says he's not blaming Pat. That is other things on the coaching staff that he has to work through. But I can say to myself personally, I think Pat has been part of the problem. So you're right. The coaching, when you say coaching staff, you have to identify, well, what coaches are you talking about? Because I think that part of the problem has been Pat Shurmur and his play calling has been a problem. I have to admit that Robert Livingston and his play calling at defensive coordinator has been questionable. And we already know that Coach Prime has made a reference to these things. Let's not play around here. But what I'm talking about is that despite the ills of what the coaching staff is doing or not doing, what is the bottom line, I don't care who the coaches are. You can have Bill Walsh. You can have Belichick. If you don't have the players to get the job done, you ain't winning. You ain't winning nothing, and you ain't doing nothing. Do you understand what I'm telling you? You ain't winning nothing, and you ain't gonna be doing nothing. You still have to have the players on the field to get the job done. They did not have the type of quarterback, in my opinion, that was getting the ball down the field in this manner that Julian Lewis was getting the ball down the field. Let's not sit up here and play around and not be honest about that. Salters did not put up these kind of numbers. Salters did not go 22 for 35 for 299 yards. Salters might have had a combination of yards on the ground, a little bit of passing, but not like this for a young man to come in the game and not play most of the season and put up close to 300 yards throwing the ball for 2 touchdowns, and 2 of their major receivers got touchdowns in this game. And then Amarion Miller has a breakout game, has his best game of the season with 131 yards receiving. Come on, man. And getting what? 1 touchdown, but 131 yards off of just 6 receptions. That tells me that they've got the right quarterback in the game, or in this game past Saturday, in Juju. Juju is the man. Juju is the man, and even Coach Prime had to admit this, that Juju is the man. Yes, he did. Check it out.
He did some wonderful things that you could see that he's going to be special. He did some things that you could see his youth. But overall, to me, the kid played well. He played well enough for us to win the game.
And obviously the loss is disappointing, but did you see the team energy kind of pick up?
His first start, he did some wonderful things that you could see that he's going to be special. He did some things that you could see his youth. But overall.
Now, Coach Prime notices that he's got the skills, but I'm going to say this right now. I think in the beginning of the season, in the evaluation of the quarterback position, there was a mistake made there. And I think Coach Prime knows that he's made a mistake, that he probably regrets not having this kid in the game. I wonder if they would have had this young man, Juju, playing a lot earlier in the ball game. I really wonder if they would have had a better record, if you would have saw better stats on the stat sheet. I'm not saying that the coaching is not the problem to you in the chat room. Don't get me wrong. But right now, on this podcast today, I'm focusing on the fact that we've got a quarterback. And I'm looking at the fact that I saw something in Juju. I had a chance to look at the game. Then I watched the game over again. I have YouTube TV so I can replay what I'm watching. And yes, there were moments where they sacked him 7 times, but he didn't get sacked 7 times because he was just doing stupid stuff. He got sacked 7 times either because the offensive line gave up the plays, or he admitted that he held on to the ball maybe a little bit too times. Hell, Deion Sanders had the same problem, everybody, where he would hold on to the ball too long. But one thing we know about Deion that reminded me about Juju this past Saturday is that he wasn't scrambling just to scramble. He was scrambling to throw the ball. And when you do that, sometimes you are going to hold on to the ball just a little bit too long, and you are going to pay the price at the end of the day. But I think that Juju showed us that he has all the right stuff. All they got to do is continue to fix that off, continue to build the offensive line around him. They've got to employ a running game. When you have a quarterback who is looking to throw the ball more than to run the ball, then you take pressure off that quarterback by fortifying a running game. He did a great job. We're not going to sit up here and deny what Juju did. I'm going to put him up here. He outplayed the other freshman quarterback. Check this out. Juju again went for 299 yards, 22 of 35, 2 touchdowns. The Fox Jr., who they kept talking about for West Virginia, he went 17 for 28, 1 TD, 2 interceptions. Great job on the defense for CU for getting those interceptions. 2 interceptions, and Juju didn't have any interceptions. His counterpart did throw interceptions in games that they lost. They lost, and this is the thing I'm going to say again. Yes, they lost this game, but they did not lose it by 53 points. They didn't get blown out. They were still in this game. There were some plays that they could have back, that they could have. There were some things in this game that if they could have executed, they could have won this game. Juju could have had his first win. Let me put this up here before I get to the press conference, a little bit of the press conference. Now, what also hurt them is that, well, West Virginia had 369 yards total offense. CU had 350. West Virginia had about 30 minutes, 36 seconds of time of possession to CU's 29 minutes of 24 seconds of time of possession. This is how the game broke down. Another thing that I want to look at right here is defensively. They did some good things defensively in this game. They got to get the tight end more involved. Draylon Miller had a few plays here and there. Got to get him involved. These two guys, Jeremy Brown, the linebacker, man, this guy is awesome. This guy had 11 tackles, 6 solo, and Tawfiq. This guy, Tawfiq, who came over from South Florida, that's safety. This guy is incredible too. He had back-to-back good games defensively. He came out and got 9 tackles, 6 solo. Man, Brandon Davis Sway, y'all know him. He's a good one. He got 4 tackles, 1 sack. Walker, linebacker Walker, number 53, Walker had a sack in this game, went for 6 tackles. Myers had the linebacker, Myers, number 40, had 8 tackles, 4 solo. And but Tawfiq and Jeremy Brown, they came to play, and those are good signs going forward. If they can keep Juju on this team, add some more talent, some more pieces to the puzzle, good things could happen. Another person that I think played a pretty decent game is Gibson. Oh, Gibson, let's be honest, what Gibson did. Gibson, he's been a return specialist. I've been saying I'm waiting for him to break one all the way to the house. Well, he had 59 yards in returning in this game, with 24 being the longest. Don't sleep on this young man. He's only going to get better. I suspect him to be someone who's going to be that much better next year when they open up the season next year. Do not give up on CU. Do not give up on the process. Once again, Draylon Miller had 10 carries for 42 yards. Hayden had 34 yards for 10 carries for 34 yards, 24 being the longest. They got to get a running game going. I just don't like the way. And Coach Prime, you got to do something about this. We got to get this running game operating a little bit better and more consistently. But Julian is going to be okay. Julian Lewis is going to be okay. I think we're in good hands. Let me let you hear the first presser. And let's go with this. Here we go.
Moving late, you get your calls, you get your checks. You move late, now you got to make another call. You got to do it on the fly. But we didn't do a bad job. You got to understand, man. We got a freshman quarterback, and he hadn't seen some stuff. He was a little nervous early on until he got right, but he got out of the pocket, scrambled, done some good things with the ball, threw the ball away. That's some of the best things that he did. So the kid is going to be all right.
What is Jordan's status, if you want to share the rest of the game?
Coach Prime is right. Julian Lewis did some things that I think we hadn't seen in a minute, right? Getting rid of the ball when he needed to, scrambling a little bit when he had to. Although he admitted himself in the press conference, I'm going to show you a clip from Julian Lewis speaking out that he felt that he held the ball too long. Guess what? All those things can be fixed. He's a young player. He can improve on what he's doing. It's all a good sign for the future. We've got our quarterback. Also, I've been saying that, hey, Julian should probably redshirt so you get an extra year. But in the press conference, he kind of was smirking. He kind of was saying, hey, he's ready to play, that he's already waited. He's already set out a year. I think he's ready. I think he's been ready. I just think he needed the reps. He needed game time, experience. And what y'all think in the chat room? We got Peggy Roster in here. We got the Empress Goddesses in the house. How you doing? Good system. Give y'all some claps. Keith, what's going on, Keith? Excited to see Julian light it up. Last 2 games, I'm excited to see him light it up too. I think it's fantastic. I think only good things are going to happen. Let's continue to hear Coach Prime with the clips that I have here.
I think he'll be available after the bye. I don't think he's going to shut it down whatsoever. I don't think his injury deserves that.
Talking about injuries.
That particular injury. I'm talking out of my head, though. I don't know the severity.
Coach, you were able to come up on some big third downs and play
Yeah.
the game. How did that show some resilience for you?
Well, these guys hadn't quit, man. Contrary to what people may write, what they may say, these guys are still fighting. They still want it. They're still coming over the sideline saying things to me like you could tell they're upset. They're holding themselves and each other accountable. The coaches are holding them accountable, and I'm holding the coaches accountable. And
Okay, as you can hear Coach Prime saying that the players don't believe the hype that the players have given up. He's saying that in the locker room, players are frustrated in terms of they want to play better. They're keeping each other accountable. Coach Prime, again, when we say, hey, there could be a coaching issue on this team, I do believe it. There is a coaching issue. Coach Prime saying, hey, we're trying to hold the coaches accountable. I want to hold myself accountable. And I've been saying this. I said this in the last video. I suspect there will be some changes after this season is over. I think you're going to see some people gone. And I think there's going to be some adjustments. And the athletic director, so for those of y'all out there in the social media sphere and then out there in the mainstream sphere making these predictions that Coach Prime going to lose his job and that's it for Coach Prime, shut the F up. The athletic administrator of this program has already said that he understands that it's tough. He understands what the team is going through, that there's going to be some improvements needed. But he ain't talking about that Coach Prime is going anywhere. So everybody out there making those predictions, shut up. The athletic director, administrator has already come out and he has squashed all that nonsense that people are putting out there. Let's continue with Coach Prime.
I got a few people holding me accountable.
Coach only scoring one touchdown
He's got people holding him accountable, y'all.
off of the two back-to-back interceptions.
Yeah,
On the play,
it's
they
not
went
good.
out and capitalized on
That's not good. We got to cash in on that, but you got to understand we got a youngster back there, so the calls and matching with the player that we have, we got to do better. We got to do a much better job of cashing in off of turnovers.
I'm sorry to ask you that.
No, you don't have to be sorry, man.
That has been a problem for the team this year where they often struggle when they get turnovers to turn those turnovers into points. These are all this season is a blueprint for areas that they're going to have to attack in the offseason with the kind of players that they bring in. Now, I suspect there are going to be some guys that are going to jump into the transfer portal and leave. Coach Prime knows this. I suspect there are going to be guys that are going to come in. But the problem is this. They got to pick the guys that come in from the transfer portal. They've got to be the right guys that fit the system that they're going to run with Juju Lewis. It's got to be. The kid, you can tell the kid has got natural talent. And he's going to get better. But you also got to put the right pieces around him. And I think they've got some of those pieces like Marion Miller, Draylon Miller.
Well, what I said, I think this week is that we've always had a defense of guy versus the running guy versus the pass defensively, and we always had the same offenses. Like a guy who's really helping make sure the passing game as well as the running game is complete. We had two different guys for that. So now we have a lot more help in that area. So, guys, it's too easy to try to shoot at Pat or try to shoot at somebody. That's too easy of a target.
Now, Coach Prime in this press conference is saying it's too easy to shoot at Pat or even a Robert Livingston. But guess what? I'm going to shoot at them because I'm going to go by what I've seen with my eyeballs. And I have not seen personally with my eyeballs. Then again, I'm not the coach. Coach Prime would know more than I know or we know. But I'm sorry. My eyeball test for me personally says that his play calling has not been that great. And we can see it. But I get it. Coaches taking a high ground because he knows he's going to have to evaluate who's sticking around, who's not going to be around. I get it. He's talking to the press, so he has to give the high ground. He has to not give up on his own coaching staff that he has, brought over. I get that. You got to believe in the process, believe in your coaching staff that you could turn things around. But I'm sorry. I think there is a problem with the offensive play calling of Pat Shurmur. That's just my feeling about it.
Not bad, fault. It's not whatsoever. I told you guys to take me. It's not that. We collectively got to do a much better job, and let's start with me.
So Coach Prime is saying that it's not Coach Pat, even though I believe it is. He's saying it's technique. It's our technique. It's what we're doing on the field. Coach Prime has said to us that they play well in practice, but something doesn't translate to the games sometime. Let's go.
I do a much better job. But you think I'm happy right now? You think I'm elated? You think
no, you're not happy.
This is what I want for these young men, for this university, for Rick. You think this is
Rick James? That's
this
right.
Is what
Rick.
It's about. It's not. It's not whatsoever. And we are so much better than what we're doing right now. If I could put my
This young man right here, Walker, I was the one saying that he got a sack in the game against West. He got a good sack. Like I'm saying, there's some talent on this team. There's some pieces to the puzzle. More needs to be added. As Coach said, he wants some better than what they've been showing, and we're going to keep watching, and supporting, and seeing, and believing.
Thing, so
you must believe in the process.
You have a locker room full of kids that really want this thing a lot more than they want certain things that they enjoy, and we just some team bond. We've done everything you think of to try to flip it, but unfortunately we hadn't. But I hadn't seen the fight going out of these young men whatsoever. They just made some stupid mistakes that we
All right. He's saying they've been doing everything that they can to change the situation. This is a good thing. Coach Prime would know this better than any of us, that he would know whether these players are losing their desire to fight and to win. But he's saying that despite losing those last two games by 50-some points, 153 points, one week, another week, 52 points, that he hasn't seen the players have a letdown in terms of their fight. And that's good, because a lot of times when teams are going through this, the coaches can lose the locker rooms, particularly the head coach. You can lose players. They drown you out. They're not listening to you. So this is a good sign that the players believe in themselves despite the losses. And for those players that stick around for the next year and don't leave through the transfer portal, they can build upon this and can only get better. I think that I think when you have your quarterback, it kind of equalizes a lot when you've got the right guy at quarterback, because quarterback outside of the offensive line is pretty much the most important thing for a football team. Let's go ahead and hear Julian Lewis himself break some things down to y'all. Here we go.
I mean, we knew they were going to send pressure, freshman quarterback, all that stuff. I got to get the ball out faster. O-line did all they could, protected up front, gave me some time back there. And that's why I had, 299 or whatever I had. I mean, O-line did their thing. I just didn't execute the throws.
Now, this is my difference in what he's saying. He said the O-line did their thing to give him time. I admit, there were times when Juju might have held on to the ball just a little bit too long, but there were times when the O-line just didn't hold up. I think he's being modest. I get it. He's not going to throw his teammates under the bus, but there were times in this game when the offensive line, and remember, they were playing without Jordan Seaton. That's a big loss to this offensive line, because he's the anchor of this offensive line. Having Jordan Seaton not in the game definitely had an impact on on the protection that the young man got on his, obviously, would be his blind side. Okay? And that's a fact. Let's continue here.
Pretty good job considering that Jordan didn't play.
Yeah, no, I mean, guys stepped up this week that, didn't expect to play. So I'm just grateful that they did.
Yeah, you're right. Some players do break under pressure. Empress, Goddess.
How did you kind of approach this opportunities you got last week. Obviously, you got some action against Delaware as well. How did you kind of wait your time for this opportunity?
I mean, realistically, I didn't know if it was going to come anytime this season, so I kind of just looked at it as a blessing and just an opportunity to take advantage of my opportunity, you know.
And he did take advantage of his opportunity. The young man went 22 for 35, 299 yards, 2 touchdowns. And what was most impressive in his debut, it was a game in which he threw no interceptions, 0. That shows you that he's poised. He can play this game. He's built for this game. And check this out. They didn't get beaten by 53 points. They lost the game 29-22, which means he had CU in the game still, despite not having a lot of reps and getting his first start as a freshman. We have to be honest about that fact. Continue, Juju.
The loss hurts and sucks. But, yeah, just like I said, just come out and get some next week.
So, considering how the last 2 weeks went, I think a lot of people question how much fight was left in this team. What did today say about this team? Even though it's a loss, I mean, what did it say about you guys who were in this team?
Realistically, I mean, we're not going to give up. I mean, I feel like, you know, the past couple beatdowns we've had, it looked like we'd given up and haven't wanted it as bad. But I think you could tell how bad we wanted this one. I mean, so this is going to hurt on the way home, of course.
Right, it's definitely going to hurt. I think losing these kind of games where you were 1 or 2 points or 7 or 6 points away from winning can hurt because you knew you had the win right there versus the games where you get blown out. But Juju, what I like about him is that the young man is poised. You could tell he's a student of the game. And he also said in this press conference that he's been sitting back, taking in and watching everything that's been happening to try to prepare himself mentally for his opportunity.
Of course, but, I mean, just recoup, regather, get ready for the next week.
That's right.
It was a nice trend back the other way, even though it was a loss.
I mean, definitely. I mean, getting some momentum back offensively, defensively, getting some stops. I mean, it felt good. I mean, it felt good. Of course, that loss sucks. Just like I said, just try to flush it and get through the next weeks.
From your perspective, how did this year go for you? I'm sure at times probably frustrating, but you're more rewarded with this opportunity and coming in as a bit of a younger guy, and now you're 18 now. What has this year been like for you?
Honestly, it's been a blessing. I mean, Coach Prime is a great mentor. Coach Shermer is a great mentor. I mean, there's a lot of very knowledgeable guys around with great football knowledge. So just trying to soak up as much as
I want to remind you all that this young man right here, Julian Lewis, in his debut, is responsible for Marion Miller, number 4, getting 131 yards receiving. Do you guys realize that? Marion Miller went for 131 yards receiving, only on 6 receptions, 1 touchdown. Somebody had to get the ball to him. That was Julian Lewis. Joseph Williams had 64 yards for 1 touchdown. That might be the most yards he's had this season. Now, I could be wrong. But what I'm saying is, what does it all mean? That he gets the ball down the field. And I've been saying it. They need a quarterback, and they got one now, or they've had one, that probably in my mind should have started from the very get-go, who can get the ball down the field, ladies and gentlemen.
I could on the sideline, even from K-Saw and his experience and Stop from his experience, just trying to soak it all in, just a blessed opportunity.
Right. Let me just read this by what you're saying right here. Seaton and Johnson did not start. Both his bookends didn't start on the right. So imagine if the 2 guys that are his bookends, right tackle, left tackle, were there. This young man could have had even better game, even better numbers. When he was being sacked 7 times, I think it had something to do with the offensive line issues with guys like Jordan Seaton being out, Johnson being out. But also he said himself, well, I held onto the ball a little bit too long. Well, he did good considering that he didn't have his bookends there. Thank you for that comment there.
How do you feel about the redshirt thing? You can play.
Oh, here come the red shirt.
And still redshirt. Do you want to play out and forget about the redshirt?
Oh yeah, I want to play football. I mean, I've been sitting down all season. I mean, I'm ready to play. I'm excited. The guys are ready to work. I mean, if we on that, I'm on that.
Woo! We on that. So he's basically letting it be known that he's not interested in no red shirt. He said, hey, I've been sitting around waiting already to play. And if I'm the quarterback, we're going to work out. Now, he even said in this interview with them having, I think they got another bye. He said he's not going to sit around and do nothing, that he's going to get out there on that field and he's going to work on timing with him and the quarterback. With the receivers. Shit. As far as I'm concerned, he's already got great timing with Amarion Miller. Shit, he gave Amarion Miller got 131 yards receiving in this game. They already on the same page. Shoo. Telling you the truth, everybody. I think the young man is what the doctor's been ordering. I think he's going to be successful if he's given the right opportunity, the right situation, meaning what do I mean by situation? The right talent around him, if the coaching staff are calling the right plays, if the offensive line is giving him the protection that he needs. He played well and didn't even have, thank you for that reminder in the chat room, didn't even have his bookends in the game. Very, 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 very important. Another thing that he did that was good for him as a freshman quarterback, how many of y'all realize that he completed 63% of his pass? He went for 63% of his passes. That's not bad considering that he hasn't had a lot of reps. Now he'll go into the next game, and let's pull up that next game. Let's see. Let's pull up some stuff here. Here we go. So they've got 2 more games to play. If they would have won this game against West Virginia, that would have put them in at least an opportunity to go to a small bowl game. So they lost to West Virginia. They come back home on November the 22nd, y'all. They come back home, so they got a little bit of a bye here. They come back home, they play Arizona State at home. Then their last game will be against Kansas State at Kansas on November the 29th. So we're going to get a nice sample size of Julian Lewis, Juju, over these next couple of few weeks going into the last few weeks of the season, everybody. Coach Prime has got a lot to figure out during the offseason. Like I said, some people are going to be leaving. Some people are going to be coming in. And that's just the reality. That's just the reality of how this game works. I appreciate you all in the chat room for being here today. Thank you. We're going to see what's going to happen. I'm excited to see what Juju does against Arizona State and playing at home with the crowd pumping him up and behind him. But that is what I wanted to put out there for this podcast. I believe in Julian Lewis. I believed in him from day one when they were trying to recruit him in their recruiting battle against USC. And I said on this channel that I thought they were going to get him. And sure enough, they got Juju. I believed in it. I believed in the process. And I'm going to continue to believe in the process. They're going to need to fortify this team with some more recruits. They're going to have to continue to improve the offensive line. They're going to have to make some changes, in my opinion, in the coaching staff. They're going to have to definitely make some adjustments in the interior defense and make a priority of doing what? Figuring out how they can consistently stop the run. That has also been their biggest Achilles heel since day one Coach Prime took over this program. They're still struggling to consistently stop the run when it really counts to stop the run. That's been hurting them as well. And like many of you out there, I still believe that the coaching staff, there's going to have to be some shakeup in this coaching staff. But I also believe at the same time that you need the players to make the plays. And you need a quarterback. If you don't have a quarterback to make the plays, you don't win. I said it before. Look at the coach of the New England. What's his name? Soon as he lost Tom Brady, he could not win. He could not win Belichick, when Tom Brady left the program, the Patriots under Belichick couldn't do anything. What that shows you is that, yeah, it's important to have good talent on your team, but if you don't have a quarterback, you ain't going to win games. And I'm sorry, but I got to be honest, I think from the beginning of the season, the mistake that was made, in my opinion, is that the young man, Julian Lewis, we call him Juju, should have been playing fresh out of high school from the very get-go. Because if he played like this in a full game this past Saturday, imagine how much better he would be up to this point had he had those reps from the very get-go. That's just how I see it. How do you see it?
Tell the truth.
With that said, everybody, thank you for watching today's program. Make sure if you want more videos like this that you subscribe, hit the bell notification, because we definitely trying to bring good content to you. Subscribe, share the video on all your social media, tell someone about the channel. Thank you very much. And I appreciate all of you in the chat room for being here today and watching the program. Please like up if you have not yet. Thank you. Like up the video, share the video on your social media with people that you know like this kind of content. And Peggy Roster, everybody in the chat room, thank you for being here. I'll be back next week, not this upcoming week. I'll be back when they have their next game. I might even drop some other content. Once again, the stuff that's happening to Deion Sanders is bothering me. This situation with Shador at Cleveland is terrible. Y'all know what's going on. I've talked about it on this channel time and time again. We have to see what's going to happen. But with that said, everybody, this is Prime Sports Media. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Y'all take care. Take care, take care, take care. Peace.